Howdy everyone, it's BP Crow's Nest No Quarter, episode 74. What a fucking mess. So we'll say howdy to everyone who's here at the moment. I don't know, it doesn't really matter what order we go in, so we'll say g'day Cuttlefish.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone's doing well.
And g'day Simba.
Hello, hopefully this FM isn't driving everyone batty.
I'm sure we'll be able to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Chuck.
Hello, everyone.
And we've got Damnation.
Yep, I'm here.
Yep. And me, RB. And I put the link in the YouTube chat so we can... there's one more spot at the moment, and then we can move people around and stuff. But unfortunately, you're stuck with me because I'm the one who has to do it. So, so how about we start off with because we didn't talk about this before. Yes, we've got avatars, Cuttlefish, avatar. So that was good. StreamYard are really doing a lot of active stuff at the moment. So.
Well, I mean, they're kind of having to step up their game a little bit now that Hangouts isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm on their Facebook page, and it's really active, and lots of people are using it. So hopefully they keep going.
Well, that's because everything else is you have to pay to use. So
tight asses of the world unite. Anyway, so did you want to start off with just tidying up the raid now that it's all finished, and how you all thought you went, and did you enjoy it, and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, we can do that.
I say we start with introducing everyone.
Who did we miss?
Yeah.
Did we miss? I thought we missed somebody. If not, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Remember, intellectual Cuttlefish.
He's living up to that avatar already.
Never mind. All right. So did everyone end up hitting 900s? What did you all hit? Did you enjoy it? Blah, 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 blah.
I didn't do 900s. I just did 116s and 118s.
I did.
I ended up hitting a line of 900s. I had an over excessive of them.
I died in a couple 900s.
And I did the 116s, 118s, and 900s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: the people who were saying you did the 900s, did you actually do the target, or did you go hide in the corner until everything ran away and then go kill a couple things?
Killed the target.
Hid in the corner. Waved at everybody, gave them, promised I'd write.
I hopped in, took a look around, tried to do it, died. Then I stayed away from it, went down to 116, 118s, and had a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just curious, like what people were qualifying as. I did the 900s. You know what I mean?
Each and every one I started of them, which was probably four or five, I think, in the end. By the time I got into them, my ships were already sailing away from me, and I had a hell of a time with those. So I did just 116s and 118s because the 900s just weren't worth it. I don't know why. I didn't have any problems with any other lag in the raid or anything like that. But for some reason, those, whenever I went into them, they just didn't like me at all.
I did really like that 900 target, though. Pretty unique mechanic of the points basically like filtering off the screen. So you could just hide in the corner and just get the bonus for completion, or you could take on everything and get a pretty decent payout out of that. So, good mechanic.
Mhm.
Now, when you guys hit in the corner, how many boats did you end up having to kill?
I never counted when they hit in the corner.
I think it's 9 regular ships and 3 gluttonies. You have to kill,
Okay.
and
okay.
one ghost crawler, but that ghost crawler doesn't move. So
Right. I just wasn't sure if anybody was having a different results than I was or not, because that was about what I had to. Because there were certain boats I kept waiting for them to run away, and they kept acting like they were gonna, and then they'd circle back, and then they'd go up and fool me again, and then they circle back.
Yeah, there was some interesting parts to that target. But I would have liked to have played around with it a bit more, but I just didn't really seem worth the risk. So there you go. We'll say howdy to Stormcatcher too, who's joined us. Maybe.
Yeah, hello all.
Howdy, how you going?
Hello.
I'm doing fine. 900s, I probably hit about 5 or 6 of them. The damage was so much for me. After I hit one, I had to put it in repair and started playing around with my photo Apollos. That's how I got my
And-
points.
what
All right,
target?
did you take them apart for the Proto Apollos?
Yes,
And did you do the Manticores too? Where you could have broke those apart and had 10 fleets going at once, hitting the 40s?
Manicores, for some reason, they were taking more damage than what I would have liked them to get.
Okay.
So I had to leave them as a full fleet. I don't know what's
All
wrong with my
right.
Manicores.
Did anyone use the free Saturn fleet they gave us?
Yes.
Yes.
How did that work?
Half hour damage, about 32 minutes damage out of the 100.
Yeah, you do the 100 on auto, send them back after each one, break it apart, instant repair and base.
And I used my good Saturn fleet to take out the 102. And I was also averaging about 35 minutes repairs.
Well, that's not too bad.
A lot of fleets were able to be used in this FM or in this event.
Boy, somebody has FM on the brain.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
do.
sorry.
Can y'all imagine what it's going to be like when what the targets are going to look like when the bat rays and razor tails get down to the 40s, and then also what are they going to look like when the Saturns and Nemesis gets down to the level 40s?
Yeah, see, that's the one thing I really don't like about this new raid format is my fleet lifespan has been greatly reduced.
I wouldn't say reduced. I was just wondering, are the targets going to be as what we're hitting now, or are they going to go to smaller targets with them?
They're probably going to be the same targets, and they're going to tune them down to that level. At least they're supposed to.
I don't know that I would bet the farm on that.
I don't think we're going to be able to use mana cores next raid because
No.
the 40s are going to be what, skirmish targets? Because that's what the 80s were, and they taken a step down.
They may just leave the 40s as they are, and then just have those the ones at the 80s just drop off entirely.
Well, what I'm thinking they're going to end up doing, just a speculation, is they're probably going to have it where it's the Buccaneer Hydras being able to do the 40s. And then work the way up from there.
It should be. It should be a fairly linear thing. I mean, whatever's hitting the top target this time will go down to next, and whatever's hitting the 80s will go down to the 60s, and whatever's hitting the 60s will go down to the 40s.
Well,
I mean, it's pretty linear progression. And that's what I was saying about like my fleet lifespan is now like half of what it used to be, because I'm going to be able to use the fleet now for like 4 raids, and then it'll be totally done. Whereas before, like in next year's, like if I had, say this was the assault raid right now, then next year's assault raid, I could use the fleet that I'm currently using now. But that's no longer the case.
Well, actually was, because the 40s was you using mana cores and photo Apollos, and those were assaults. And then the hundreds was the assaults also. The 80s was skirmish, and then the top targets was skirmish. So if everything rolls down,
But that's because it just started. So like the assault fleets that we're using now, by the time we get to a year from now, we're already going to have like a second, possibly into almost a third assault fleet, since we're only doing 2-month cycles now.
that's true.
This is going to get sad.
Don't forget to mute Damnation, because otherwise we'll get vaping noises through the whole show. Or
That's
vape
fine. You know, I'll make it a disaster if I want.
And sorry for laughing, by the way. I was just Ross is doing funny things in the bottom of my screen, so hopefully he'll put some clothes on at some stage, but I guess that can't be guaranteed.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, moving right along.
So back to the raid
Moving
for
right
a second.
along. Yes.
Now, in the first raid, we had the suppressor ship, and that turned out to be quite useful and made a dramatic difference in at least my raid on the first raid. Did anybody just leave it parked in their base like I did for the second raid?
Don't have one.
I tried it once in a 900 and said, "Yeah, that's a bad idea." And yeah, then it just stayed there for the rest of the raid. Matter of fact, I don't think I've even repaired it yet, even.
What, the
I was going
suppressor?
to say that too, because mine just sat there and did nothing.
I had fun with mine.
Did you find it actually made a difference and cut down your repair in the same way that it did in the first raid?
Well, I went in the 900 to help somebody out and start the ships for them. I wasn't really worried about too much.
Yeah, I know Shane was doing that as well. He was just he can probably jump on here and say that himself, but he was just taking out the gluts in the targets and getting, I think it was 50k and 60k, like 50k in the 116 and
In the
60K in the
118s.
118, something like that. Yeah.
Just go around the targets and take them out for people.
I used the suppressor in the 116, 118s. Didn't upgrade it. Just left it as is. If it died, it died.
I'm glad I didn't waste any time building my second one.
They gave
Or
me
upgrading it?
a second one. I didn't even claim it.
The second
They gave it to me
suppressor.
with the chest. Yeah, they gave it. They gave it that they gave for alliances.
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, I'm gonna step out, so they're gonna bring Ross up.
Okay.
All right. Well, cool.
Okay. There he is, the mighty Ross Crow.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, what's up, Ross?
Hey, Ross.
No, I didn't mean
Hey,
to.
Ross.
Did you jump out on purpose, or we're okay with all that? I don't want to kick people out of spots.
No,
everything's
we'll just swap around. It's all good.
Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, I just I had the suppressor. I bought. Remember, I thought maybe I'd be a step ahead of the game by purchasing that cash offer for the upgrade. Remember, a couple shows back we were talking about it, and I thought maybe that's my chance. I took the cash deal, and I thought maybe since there was a co-op target we hadn't seen yet, that we were going. My possibility was that everybody was going to need my upgraded suppressor, and I was going to be the hero. Bad plan. I felt I got scammed. Truly, it wasn't a big scam, just a little scam, but it was enough for me to decide I'm not buying coins in the event. I mean, that's how I looked at it. They knew that they designed the targets, so they know the suppressor's not needed, and then they push the upgrade right before the event that nobody knows about. So people unknowingly purchase that. To me, is shady. So they're continuing with shadiness. That's how I looked at it. So I didn't give him any coins, and I just continued on with what I can do.
Now, refresh my memory. How much was that deal to upgrade the suppressor?
Oh, it's like only 10, I think.
Okay, so like while you say
it could have even been lower.
Well, you say it was a small scam, but you got to think about it. Say like if 5,000 people did it, that's $50,000. That's not a small scam at that point.
No, right, exactly, and that was kind of my thinking. And they totally knew that. They totally pushed it exactly at that time. It's not going now. I mean, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no less of a reason to need it right now than we needed it right before the raid because it wasn't needed. So that it was a scam, in my opinion. So, they're just moving forward with the shadiness. I'm hanging on, and I'm just trying not to participate in that nonsense. I'm just going to keep chugging along. But I learned. But I learned from my mistakes, so I say that. So those little flash up offers, move along. I mean, that's how I feel now.
Yeah, to me, that's very similar to what I consider another scam that they did just a couple days ago, but we'll get more into that later.
Very good. Well, is there anything else anyone wants to say about the raid, really? Were you all happy with it? I mean, it wasn't I did pretty well in it. I was quite happy with what I got and score-wise and what I spent and all that sort of thing. It seemed like they were quite reasonable targets. I didn't actually mind these targets. So did you all feel the same way, or did you have different opinions?
I thought the 118 was a good target. I didn't really like the 116. I took much more damage the 116 than I did the 118.
For
I think
me,
everyone has that issue.
please go ahead, Simba.
Sorry.
No worries.
I was going to say, I think everybody had the same issue between the 116 and the 118. The 116 being more damage.
Which is kind of like ass backwards from the way it should be, huh?
That's how it's been for the last year for most of the raids.
We've had that before.
Yeah, I know. And I think I say that every time, but it's still just, I can't wrap my head around that they don't know that a higher number is supposed to be more damaging.
The other part. Oh, sorry, Cuddle, go for it.
For me, the only negative thing, or the only bad thing about this raid, for me, was really the prize redemption window, and just how unfriendly it was. It was very difficult to scroll through and actually locate prizes. It was very annoying to actually claim multiple limited prizes, like the Dragoon tokens or any of that, because it would instantly shoot me back to the top of the screen, which point in time I'd have to scroll down. It was just a pain. And it's very frustrating because we just had a very good prize redemption in the pillage just a little while ago. and this one was just bad.
What gets me is they postponed this raid like a week or two, and the prize list looked like it was hastily thrown together.
What would you have liked to have seen different?
The redemption just the same as there was for
Mhm.
Village.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, when he said prize list, I thought he meant things actually on the prize list.
That's what I thought too. So that's why I was just double checking. So there wasn't anything particular that you wanted added. It was just the horrible redemption bloody way of doing it.
Well, Praetorian targets would have been nice.
Mhm.
Praetorian tokens would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to make up for all the build tokens that we already got from the FMs that they decided to not give us.
Or even give the generic tokens back.
Well,
No,
I
I
think
think-
part of the lack of FM tokens and whatnot for like our FM fleets is probably partially due to us for saying for how long that your FM fleet is your most important fleet, your FM fleet is your most important fleet, your FM. So therefore, they're probably not going to give us tokens for our FM fleets until they're almost ready to rotate. We probably indirectly kind of did that to ourselves.
Much like they did with the dragons. We went almost a year without seeing dragon tokens, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Very much so. I was going to say the other part that I liked about it was that I was able to be reasonably successful without, everything having to be U3. And like Soggy said in the YouTube chat, he was doing it, coin free basically, with his good driving and being very patient. But I'm not that patient a person, so. So there you go. All right, so that's enough raid stuff. So shall we move on to the burning topics of this week?
Fiasco.
Sorry, I'm just typing for a sec, so keep on talking, people. I can't do two things at once.
I was just going to say the FM is low hanging fruit. Let's talk about the let's talk about the BXP weekend first, and then we'll get into the FM.
Okay, good idea.
I'd say that's a good positive, and for me, I'll just jump right in there, I guess, for the BXP, for the simple fact that I built blank hulls, trying to get them out as soon as possible to rank like normal, and took drastically. It feels like I did not count. No, I'm sorry, I did not, but it just took a lot less deaths to rank them. So coining the fleet is definitely not even required. You can kill it off, repair, kill it off in the time that's given. If you started at the time, when the targets came out, you can truly skull them just by killing them off, and not even needing the silver.
Well, actually, you didn't even need to kill them off, really. You just had to go up, kill 2 turrets, and wait for the timer to go out. Next to the target, go back in, kill 2 turrets, wait for the timer to exit, go back in, kill. And you could do it literally for coin free with no dying.
You couldn't with thuds. That's the only thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. So I really did totally blank to try to get them as fast as possible. So I really was in trouble on that aspect. But yeah, you're totally right. But even with thuds though, the killing, and they ranked fast. It wasn't when they build it by design that I'm able to actually do it, following their path and their time frame, without jumping in and getting in my wallet. I'm good. I mean, how can I not be okay? I'm okay.
I would also like to say that when I first went into the target and I saw the flamethrowers shooting across down the, I don't know, hallway of death, I was very impressed. That looked really nice. So well done on whoever designed the target. I just wish they had used a different faction so it didn't look identical to the targets we had out in the map.
Yeah, that confused a few people because we had some people talking that they put on Silver Salty and they hit a 125, not realizing that it wasn't the 120.
Right. They did that right here in our sector. It was pretty good. And several people have done that. The wording, the target has actually labeled a different in wording, but the visual is the same. So yeah, it's a little confusing being that they're right next to each other.
Yeah, people just need to train themselves to look at numbers, not the visuals. That's all.
How many people were surprised and saw the actual target pop up on Thursday night?
Oh,
And how many took
it only did it in alpha. And I got a video of it.
I was pleasantly pleased.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to skull my ships before this VXP weekend because I hit that twice while they were up. So
I ended up.
I wish I hadn't because I spent coin on repairing my fleet after the first hit, but it was late.
And did you notice the VXP target was actually paying out good VXP for once in a great while?
Yeah, that's what I was my point was being it paid well. So 2 thumbs up in all honesty on that. If I'm right, I seldom am, but it's like three months in a row, right? With the
Now, I would like to say this before we go giving them so many kudos. We better be real careful because anytime we give them too many kudos, they come in and fuck everything up. So maybe we should just stop with the praise train.
But I think isn't it? We've had like 3 consecutive decent VXPs. I know at least 2, but I'm thinking 3.
I know 2 for sure. I can't remember if it was 3 or not, but I know 2 for sure.
Well, we can praise them for the VXP target. It's the FM that they're going to get the rant for.
Yeah,
Well, interestingly enough, because I was the opposite of Cuddle, because when I saw all those flames, I went, oh, well, that's going to cause a shit ton of lag, and we're going to be bouncing all over the screen. And I wasn't quite so positive on that, and trying to work out how I was going to get down that channel. But I mean, obviously, we all know that the VXP targets aren't the raid targets, but it did make me kind of worried for what we're going to have to face, to be quite honest. So
the VXP target always gives us a tease for what is coming ahead.
Yeah.
Well, seeing the flames coming down that channel, either we're going to want lots of speed. We already noticed that the ships are fast with nothing on them. Or we're going to have to really build something up for a lot of resistance if you're going to try and do that slowly.
Radioactive resistance, yes. So, yeah, or like Damnation said on the Hangout yesterday, that you use all the little nooks and crannies to hide in and then creep along or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting target, so I say this and worry that I say it. I'll be interested to see what the final target looks like, or what the raid targets look like. They seem very compact and very, which is good because we all like quick targets. But I don't know. Strange.
I think they're another positive in my opinion. I think they're I don't know. I can't say that word right now, but they're not that hard to drive. You can get through them fast. They do require a little bit of skill. You can make a path so you don't just auto. And that's me even saying that. I think that the auto would be death move. Possibly not if you had a strong enough build. I'm not sure on that part, but I like the target because I think that you can really get the damage to a minimum if driven correctly. And so I like that opportunity, that chance at least for minimum damage low, very, very low. And I see that in this target. I mean, I don't have the fleet for it now, but I can foresee it, in all in timing and the way you dodge and move into those crannies, nooks and crannies. It looks like a decent target because of the size and everything. And let's be honest, those flamethrowers are attention grabbers, really. So I kind of liked it.
Well, I'll admit, when I first went in that target and I saw those flamethrowers, I peed my pants a little bit.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I agree, but it's something new, different. I'm all for that, Yeah.
I was going to say it could all be a ruse, and we're busy worrying about the radioactive while, meanwhile all the ballistics just absolutely caning you as you go down the between the targets. But I don't know because I haven't done a full target or anything like that, so I haven't bothered to try and complete one because I've got a shit ton of defender tokens. So has anyone completed them? Are you trying to finish them, or are you just dying?
I haven't even tried to complete them. Once I got my shit ranked, I went back to building it.
I just committed suicide.
Did you all look at the damage report at the end of the targets?
Yep.
Mine were primarily radioactive.
Yeah.
Almost no ballistic.
Yeah, it's funny because I had Ratharga Gaming there in chat. I had him. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but there was a bug way back on the one base parts target back in the day that had the Wendigo on it, that the Trident would actually shoot down the Wendigo flechettes. So we tried that to see if the Trident would shoot down the Wendigo flechettes in this target, and unfortunately, the answer to that was no.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting target anyway.
Do we know the UAVs, which apparently are going to be a lot less counterable when we actually get into the actual raid than what they are right now? But do we know, are they ballistic or are they radioactive, or do we have no idea?
They are
I think
ballistic.
they're all ballistic.
Okay.
And if they remain as they are at the moment, my plan is to ignore them. Because that ballistic damage was very, very little.
Yeah, I did get hit by a few as I was clicking between games yesterday, so it did seem that was almost an option. But, yeah, I don't know, because I'm not having a proper look at the target, and I probably should. So maybe I'll go back and send something in there to check it out to see how many UAV turrets there actually are.
Do you want me to just forward you the video?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds good. Because if they're just an annoyance and they're just there to distract you, well, and if you can build up your resistance enough to not worry about it too much, it may be that's just the strategy of it, but it's always hard to tell.
Yeah, they look like fleas. I think they're just there to annoy the hell out of us or make us think, oh my god, we got to do something about this, when we probably don't. Because all those directed turrets look like they were all launchers. And then we got the flames from hell.
So did anybody accidentally run into the short-ranged radioactive turrets, ones with the very, very small arcs?
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bet you didn't do that again, did you?
No. No.
It reminded
I'm
me.
just going to do a fast friend. Make it fast, easier.
Yeah, I did it just to check them out. They're a double shot kill, so they're pretty strong. I mean, just 2 shots, you're done. So it was nice. That's with no armor. and everything. But they're pretty strong little turret if you get real close.
I did take I've got one subjugator, and I did take one in there, and the chaining wasn't too bad. I mean, those UAVs aren't there to do damage anyway, but it was interesting to watch the chaining and how that all went. But because when I ranked my Dragoons, I didn't use a salty or anything like that. I just, did the prick move and took out those two turrets all the time. But with the subjugator, I did the same thing, and I bought it back once just to see how much of EXP I got, and it was only 10k. So after that, I put the silver salty on, but I just stayed in that one target to do that. So, and that was pretty quick. So
Let me loop back to something you just said.
sure.
Did you say you, when I watched the UAVs in that target, I did not see them chain at all. These look like the old-fashioned swarm UAVs that would go to one target and then just undulate on top of them and then eventually go home rather than hopping from one target to another. Did anyone see those UAVs actually chain to another one of your ships?
No.
No, because they were my UAVs that were chaining, not
Sorry.
their UAVs. No, that's all right. It's all good.
These look like the golden little, I still call them fleas, from the Reaver Hulks. That's what they look like to me.
Yeah, they totally did not change from one of my ships to the other, and I would have noticed because I didn't have the range increaser on one of my boats, so it was way out in front of the rest of them. So I definitely would have noticed that there was chaining going on there.
Excellent. So no chaining there. That's
It
very
didn't
nice.
seem like it. I'm just going to swap Stormcatcher back in, so just bear with me 1 second. Goodbye, Ross.
Good deal.
No, hang on a sec. We've got to remove Ross first. The power.
I think I made a mistake giving RB this much power.
I'd agree with that. There we go.
As I was saying in chat, I don't know what page it was, but somebody went into one of the VXP targets with 4 hulls, and they actually beat the target. So I don't know how they got their build or anything.
I'll be honest, I could actually easily see it because mine, I only had weapons on 3 of the hulls and I didn't have engines on any of them. And I actually got fairly far in with, like a half-ass slap together before VXP weekend thing.
Oh, another thing.
Using Dragoons.
Another
What's
thing.
Was that using Dragoons for both of you?
Yes.
Right, okay. Go, Cubble.
One thing, I did try using a pinch in this target. I pinched the giant flamethrower turrets at the far end of the channel. And it doesn't seem like these buildings have any stun resist, at least they didn't, and seem to stun out for the maximum amount of time with my rocket. So using those pinch rockets might actually be an effective tactic in the raid.
Well, it was until you said something.
I get accused of that all the time.
Well, Cuddle, we don't want to. Yeah, you brought it up somewhere else on one other like the FM, and well, I think that's what happened to that.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure they've got it all sussed out. It was just an open invitation, so it was kind of fun.
Stormcatcher, probably Apex Predator that came out with a video showing how to do it.
That's true. I've seen that one too. I was just
we got like 20 minutes left, and we should probably move on to the FM at this point. Because I know that's going to take up all that 20 minutes, if not more.
We should. So who wants to start?
I don't know. Should I go pour her a glass of wine to get started?
You can do.
Well, it shocked the heck out of all of us. The target looked interesting. I think it's way overpriced.
Yeah, all right, let's start with the mechanics of the actual target here. The points in the target seem to be distributed pretty evenly amongst all the different turrets. I couldn't find a single one of the buildings that was worth more than any other thing, so you could just go in, eat that, and leave. Couldn't find any cheesy trick like that. I actually did like the target. It's a fine design. But the rockets are counterable by sprints. Sprints seem to be highly necessary. And that's all about the good stuff I got to say for this target.
Well, I liked the target when you was able to go in and bang them out until they changed. When they stopped that, I went from like 5 hours of damage up to 7 hours of damage. So I hit one and then put it in for repair overnight. Get up in the morning, hit another one, wait for 5 or 6 hours, and hit another one. I'm up to 85 million, but I'm not gonna get all the armors.
So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to start with what I liked about the FM this week, because they did do something I did like. They put the Praetorian in the FM. That people can actually get that now, and all the little accoutrements that go with it. I like that they did that. That was probably the only good thing about the FM this week.
Yes.
You know, my first big problem, I mean, aside from the point requirements, aside from making the FM now more of a grind than what any of the monthly events are, in my opinion, I mean, to change it partway through to where people who were able to get on and do it, you know, with the sub decoys and whatnot, and get tons and tons and tons of points, and then the people who can't do their FM till the weekend did not get that same opportunity to do those things. I think that is very shady and very shitty and a horrible business practice. They should have just said, okay, we screwed up. That's on us. It'll stay this way until next week, giving all players the same opportunity. That was probably my biggest irk about what happened as far as the FM this week. Yeah, of course, you know, I have the same problem with the points that everybody else does. You know, I have a big problem with the disparity between 10 million points for the top end target and like 800,000 for the next closest one. That seems like it's bad enough that there's this huge chasm between the haves and have-nots in PvP, but now you're trying to put it there in PvE as well. And yes, I understand a lot of people say, well, the armor is not really going to be that important, and that's fine. But you know that at some point they're going to put something at that top end that's going to be hugely important. And then everybody who was like, oh, well, I don't need the armor, so it's not a big deal, is going to be fucking pissing their pants because now they can't get that super important thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because it's yeah, to me, the biggest thing about it is there's a few parts to that, and you know that's exactly right. It's the ridiculous changing it halfway through. So I think they put the Praetorian in there as a way of shutting us up, because when the prize list was first done, there was no Praetorian. So that was kind of well, we're sorry about that, and we're sorry about changing it halfway through. Here's the Praetorian, so that'll shut you up. So, yeah, I mean, it is good that it's in there for the people who don't have it, but, you know, seeing what all the feedback on the forum was, that Gilly's monitoring it and all this sort of stuff, it just makes me feel that they're going to change it again, and that I know you're going to howl me down for this, Damnation, but we kind of need to stick our ground on this, because it's what it's leading to that's my biggest problem with it. You can't just jump this amount of points like that, because then in 6 months' time, what are we going to be like? 1 billion points for the FM. It's like it's just ridiculous. All they had to do was make it a garrison target for a start. And I know we kind of said that when the 125 came out, because it just does not make sense that it's a Legion target. But I'll kind of live with that, but it's not right. But like, just make it 1 million points and make the armor 10 million points or something like that. To go to this ridiculous amount of points is just crazy. It's just crazy. And when people are trying to do an FM and an event, so next week will be Bounty. So to me, they're cutting their nose off to spite their face. It's like, so what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the FM or are you going to choose Bounty? Because good luck trying to do both of them at the same time, or trying to do Pillage and the FM at the same time. You're not going to be able to do it.
Like I said in chat, somebody came on a after show from last night, and somebody from one of the top alliances, he got word that the FM is going to go to once a month. I don't know where he got it from, but he said it was from someone from one of the main top alliances. But if it goes to once a month, then I don't know what some of us are going to do without the build tokens.
I heard that rumor too. I think it's a rumor.
I hope it is.
It's hard to say unless there's an actual link, or it actually said somewhere.
I'm very firm, and that's a rumor category. That's innuendo, and like I don't believe a word of that.
Yeah, there'd have to be some sort of,
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that on Discord.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anyone wants to go back and find it, that'd be great. But I think it's just we'll stick to the rumor side of things with that. So I'd much rather have a link or a screenshot or something like that. So, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, just to let y'all know, you can't sub out the 125 either.
Oh, they changed that now?
I think because that type of target, the way it's made and all that, when they put that in there for the 131, it also counted the 125. Now the 120s and the 121s are just fine.
Well, I mean, you can still take other ships in there too. They don't have to be Praetorians. So it's strange the way they've locked some things and not locked others. And because one of the other issues that I'm having with it is that I wouldn't be quite so, irritated with it, but I've found now, I can't remember how many I've done, but we're still doing the 5th ship. So all my ships are built, exactly the same. They've all got the same amount of armor on them. And my 5th ship is almost dead by the time I've finished the target. So if it was like the, the 120s and the 121s where you could do, 3 or 4 and then repair overnight, I'd be fine with that. And I guess I probably could, but to see that last ship getting smashed the way it is, it's, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is having that problem, but I certainly am.
Actually, yeah, it's still targeting the 5th ship all the time.
Actually, I know I am, because when they brought out we'll step back to the raid for a minute. When they brought out the free raid spree, fleet. Now, I had to scrap out some hulls, and I accidentally got one of my dragons into it. And well, I'd had to quick build one. I'm getting it back into the fleet, and it's taking most of the damage because it's my fifth ship.
Well, let me guys ask you something. If the armors weren't limited and you had to grind out 25 million, but you would get the blueprint and be done, would that be more acceptable?
Yes.
It would.
Absolutely.
Not for that price point for me.
Okay, now here, let me ask my next question, and this will be the one that's going to really rile some people up. Out of all the people who are complaining about the price points, how many of you, in spite of complaining about the price points, still ground out a bunch of points to get the armors?
I have I have everything in the FM at this moment. So, me definitely.
So, do you not see a contradiction about complaining about the price point, but then paying it?
Well, I got about half the points I needed from using the decoy sub technique until Kixeye sank my fangs. After that,
I perfectly understand that, but that's not the question.
Unfortunately, I feel that these armors are mandatory for me to do well in the next raid. So I gripe about it, but yeah, I've got to grind it out. Now, this week was an easy week for me grinding it out because I only had to grind out half of it. And I use easy in the loosest definition that can be out there. Next week, when I have to grind out 450 120s, well, I might have a different opinion then.
Now, see, I do not agree with the price point of the armors. So even though I could go out and grind all the points to get them, I'm not going to do it because, in my opinion, by me going out and grinding all those points and getting those armors, no matter what I say, my actions are telling them it's acceptable.
The thing is, though, that's easy to say with one foot out the door because I'm it's fear of missing out. I'll be the first one to say it because if I don't have those things, I'm going to regret it. So I'm not going to get all of them. I know I'm not going to get all of them because the way my Praetorians are, I can't finish them without doing that and nothing else. And, I want to do the Breacher TLCs, which I think we've got time to talk about those quickly too. But it's like, for example, I didn't get all the whatever cannons they are for the depth charges for the Silverfish. So, I struggled a bit more than other people in the raid because I didn't have quite as much firepower. So, I'm just setting myself up to be behind. So, yes, I've got a choice, but what's that choice going to be? And is that going to bite you in the ass later on down the track?
Well, I think it's ridiculous right now that seem like every new raid hole they're coming out with or whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to get all the armors and that either, but everything's coming out now has got upgrades. And our shipyards are already overtaxed people's trying to finish up their FM fleet, and we're trying to finish up the last raid fleet in order to be able to do what they can. And now they got to try to do the next raid fleet, plus trying to get their FM fleet finished out. No, this is this is driving people away. And when this FM hit like this, I know about 4 friends of mine walked away.
Yeah.
There is a good question. Most of us are in different alliances. What's the morale in your alliance at the moment when it comes to the FM? How do your players, how do your alliance mates feel about it?
I can 100% say I have no idea. I don't interact with my alliance very much.
My alliance, we used to be on there certain times of day and all that, and since the FM hit, you don't hardly even see each other on anymore. I know they're doing it, but just don't hardly get on and talk anymore while we're doing the FM because of this.
What were you going to say before, Simba?
I was saying I've heard a lot of discouragement
Mm-hmm.
in it. Not a lot of people are happy. You're talking 25 mil a shot, and some people only have 1 or 2 Praetorians built because you've got so much crap in your yard. I mean, give us another yard if you're going to do all this crap. Something.
Yeah.
Same in my alliance. They're pretty demoralized and are exceptionally quiet and either just autoing stuff and doing other things or not a lot of social interactivity going on at the moment.
Now I got a curiosity question. This happening to the FM because is it still Kixeye or is it still front? Is still front completely taken over yet, or is Kixeye still trying to get that 30 million or whatever they're supposed to get?
I
Well,
think
they're
it's still front now.
Yeah, it's definitely still front. So that bonus would be going on in the background, as far as I understood all that to be.
Okay.
As far as my alliance, they're pretty well demoralized like everyone else. A lot of people are really pissed off because the Praetorian was added, because they did all the grinding in the last raid to try and get it, and now it's suddenly in the FM and it's a hell of a lot cheaper.
How much is it, by the way? Does anyone know?
Give me a second here.
Because I already had it. Because I was kind of curious to.
My son doesn't have it. Let me go to his account and look.
And the special and the weapon are 2.5.
Okay. Well, that's pretty reasonable.
Okay, I guess I don't gotta go to my son's account then. That's good.
Hey, RB,
Yeah.
step me out so you can bring Ross back in.
All right. Come on down.
That's right.
Well, good deal. I wouldn't mind talking about how the FM's gone for me, because I'm somebody that actually I think that I have the ability to do the FM. I guess possibly I do have the ships to do it, but I built it them. I built them to do the 120s, so I don't have the sprints on them. I have the MDSs that don't work as well for the 131. So that would require me to refit. I also don't have the armor because let's just say because I didn't screw up the order and release of the product. So that's why I don't have mine done, because I'm just not, I'm not bending over backwards when they don't release things in the common sense order or time frame. And then as far as this jacking with the FM, I'm certainly not doing it. I'm totally 100% with Damnation. I'm not doing it one time, 1 week, not happening. No way, because I played Battle Pirates. I started this game as a PvP event. There is not one chance in hell, 1 week going by, I'm grinding for even 7 hours of damage or more, or even the grind of doing a PvE, me versus the computer. If I wanted to do that, I'll play solitaire. That's just how I feel about it. It's not happening. So I'm here they change the game, change it back so it's a PvP game, or you're going to lose half your players. It's obvious. And now it's just a common sense move. Huh. That's how I feel. Basic.
Yeah, I know part of the other confliction for me was to see everyone getting all those, using different chips and all that sort of thing, and then having it changed in the middle. It's like, okay, so now we've, like Damnation said, they should have just sucked it up for this week and then go, okay, so we stuffed up because they, definitely said that they'd stuffed up, and then good luck with the rest of your FM. Well, thanks very much for that. But, I'm on a different time zone, so I can't do the FM when I'm at work. Not anymore, anyway. So I missed out on all of that. So now I've got to do it the slow way or lots of repairs. So, I guess I can probably add some more sprints and that will help. But I've got another.
Got another fleet to build.
Well, not really. I just need to do a few tweaks. I can see kind of, what I can do to improve it. But I don't know. Just the whole. I don't know. Just make it a bloody garrison target. It just doesn't make any sense that we're fighting Legion. But that's me, because originally there was a storyline to this game, but I guess lots of people don't. In the current team don't actually know that.
Yeah, but you used to be able to. I remember you decoyed with the Spectre sub in the weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's kind of, I think, what most people thought. It's like, oh, they're kind of doing what they said they were going to do, make chores less grindy, kind of opening the game back up a little bit, and allowing us to do stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, no, sorry, we just made a mistake. Haha, fuck you.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was the sequence of events that day which irritated me. We got a new. I was on the moment the FN began, so went out, saw the first target, went in with my Praetorians first, looked at it, left, and then noticed that I could go in with a whole bunch of different fleets, and so I tried. Conquerors failed, but then my Fangs went in, and I could totally kill all the ships. I felt very clever. And then drove around with my Praetorians, and I was doing the target for 2 hours of damage because my Praetorians are not fully complete, but that was still okay. Then Kickside noticed that we were using the subs and said, hey, we might change it. All right. I put in a Fangtooth into my Praetorian fleet, and then I was doing it. I was doing the targets great. My lowest time in there was 44 seconds. I thought I was very clever. Then Kickside changed it for the first time. They reduced the sonar ranges in their buildings. There was just a triangle of sonar in the middle of the screen. If you weren't in there, your distraction sub failed. All right, I got to drive a little bit better. No problem. Drove, still doing it very well. Everything's, it's still going well. It's a little trickier, but still fine. And then it happened. Kickside changed it again, and my Fangtooths went into a target, and they all died. Half an hour later, I get a warning saying, oh yes, enemy ships in here, now hit submerged targets. Well, great. All they had to do was lock the target off to just garrison hulls, and, that would have been fine. But no. I wonder how many people lost their Fangtooths, which is a 20-some-hour repair.
Everybody who was using it, well, not everybody, but I mean, yeah, just a mass number. They totally continued with the shady move on purpose. It's not too hard to put a header up. It's your changes. And matter of fact, why would we as players have to tell them that we need those? they should just know that. It's just common sense. So yeah, they scammed everybody, the community on their damage on the shadiness on there. They did. They saw that everybody got by a little bit, and they recouped on them. That's how it is.
They can send out a blast telling everyone that they're doing a update. So why couldn't they send out a blast telling us that they were going to be changing the target?
No, they can. That's just it. They just they choose not to. They actually just choose not to.
Well, of course, because then it makes us all coin more.
But I mean, it's not a tinfoil hat move. It's an in your face move. I mean, they did it. They do it.
But yeah, honestly, I have to go back to, I think what frustrates me more than the amount of points that things cost and the amount, and then it's just the fact that people complain about it, but then end up paying that price anyway. That frustrates me more than anything else, honestly, in this whole mess, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's like, if you're going to cause, you're just causing your problem to stay there by doing that. If you're not willing to take it in the shorts for an event to make them change their mind, then I don't want to hear you bitch about it. Basically, it's kind of where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
No, right. If you're good completing it, you're okay with whatever 25 million armor, in my opinion. I'm not. Oh well. And if I suffer from it, oh well. How am I? Not real. I'm not really suffering from not having an armor on a visual pixel game. I got to look at it that way, and instead, they need to. They're the ones that are going to suffer from my lack of funding it, and that's really how we need to start looking at it. I mean, I love this game, and I'm totally willing to fund it, right? But let's start making some for the player moves here. That's all for the player. This total PvE game. I don't know. I guess if that's the route, then just come out and say it. There's no time for PvP any longer. That's how it is. So we know, and we just don't, keep going on month after month. If you're not going to bring PvP back, okay, I get it. Maybe it's not that they don't know how much. Maybe the fluctuation in the income jumps around too much with PvP, and so they're going with the PvE all the time, full raid, 1 month raid. So maybe it's for income. I'm not sure, but it's not fun for me.
Well, that's why I think it'll bite next week when there's an actual event going on at the same time, because at the moment, apart from the TLCs, and a lot of people have probably got their breaches done or their megas done or whatever, that it's not as bad as it could be. But when it hits next week, it'll be interesting. So the other thing, hopefully I'm sharing the screen properly, was Wrong Thinkers wrap up from a year in review. So it's only, what's that, 3 weeks old, something like that. So, and there's it's there very clearly that unfortunately it's one that the FM is extremely important part of BP, both for token acquisition and catch up. Unfortunately, it's one of the worst grinds in the game. We're looking into ways to fix this.
Exclamation point.
Yes, they fixed it. So
apparently his right hand doesn't know what his left hand is typing. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Although, I don't see, the problem is too. There's two different groups there that are always at odds with each other. There's the marketing department and there's the design department, and stuff like this unfortunately falls all in the lap of the marketing department.
Well, someone's got to tell them to pull their heads in then. So
That
might happen next week.
Unfortunately, they're the and Kicks Eye, or still front, aka still kind of sort of Kicks Eye. The marketing department is the one that holds all the stroke there.
That would be a good new name for them, is Still Kinda Kickside.
Yeah, right.
As a question, was this posted before the Stillfront announcement, before the merger happened?
So this was the year in review, so it's the 3rd of August.
Okay, so no, after. Okay, thank you.
Anyway. All right, so has anyone else got anything to say about the FM? Have we talked about that enough? Because we'll quickly do BP next week and then get the puck out of here.
Yeah, why are those 3 prizes with 25 million apiece in tab 5 when everything else is 2.5 or less?
Because they didn't get the 6 and 7 working. That was just a little tease when we kept on saying that.
Oh, so another laziness on their part.
It also could be a monetization scheme. Because of the high price to actually get them in the FM, there is a pretty decent chance that a large chunk of the population is not going to get the armors they need to outfit their raid fleet. But you know, a week before the raid, sweet limited time offer could drop.
Yeah, there's been enough.
2 bits of armor and a 1-day token, $8.
I
Calling
think
it now.
Been about 25 different deals in the last 4 days since the raid ended.
Yep, I think you're 100% right there. It's like the 3 silver salties for 50 coins.
I know I got 2 new offers. It was the U2. Let me go back in my base and I'll find out exactly. I know one was the U2 dreads for $30.
I had one for howlers and all sorts of stuff.
The hollers, yep. Those are the ones that just popped up for me.
This is something else that I've noticed, and I'm not sure if this is a function of the change in corporate structure or the advent of Discord being used more and more by Kixeye. It used to be if players wanted a limited time offer, they would post on the forums, and it would generally be ignored, and maybe they would show up whenever. Maybe. Now, you can just go onto Discord, you can just message one of the CMs there and say, please put out the U2 Basilisk upgrade, limited time offer, and they go, sure, and then it pops up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That has happened. I've watched it over the last couple of days, including during the raid. It popped up a couple of times like that.
Happens right now. This one right now we got now. I watched it happen. You're right. I've watched this. You're 100% correct.
I just logged in. There's 8 offers.
No, I know, but what he's saying is there's certain people that just log into Discord. They say, hey, how about I need this limited time offer? They say that straight out. They don't. No, there's no other small talk. Blah, 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 blah. And then bam, in the game. Here you go. That's what's going on. It's clear as day.
Very interesting. All right, well, we may as well go on to BP next week. So we thought last week's was brief. This one's even briefer. So we've got the support for Bounty 23 and 4 TLCs. So that'll be an interesting one. And the CM Diary, looking at the official start of Siege. Then the briefing goes up on Tuesday. So that'll be the briefing for Bounty 23 with the prize store, shipwrecks featuring Kixeye replica bases and King of the Nexus. And then Wednesday, Bounty 23 starts, if you've got time to do it, or the inclination.
Yeah.
So there you go. I did also ask in the weekly update on the forums to find out where our fun forum contest went. Obviously, it's not important because of all the other FM bullshit going on, but I was just curious because it's like they'll say one thing and, it's a big announcement that this is going to happen, and then not a whisper. So anyway, I think Gilly said that it might happen during the week. I don't know. I guess it all depends with what continues on with the fallout from the FM. So anyway, there you go. And I also thought that this one was interesting. This was someone posting there that they'd put the new armors on their Praetorians. So they've got one on each of 2 Praetorians, replacing a D6X, and tried 131 again. To notice no benefit to the 2 ships carrying it whatsoever. So there you go. Interesting.
It's because the armor doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't say that. I'm still doing the damn FM.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Let's see. I still got 4 more to go.
It's not, I can't just make that statement saying armor doesn't work. Armor does not work the way I think it should work, I guess. You know, and is what I should say. Like, if I were to only armor 1 ship in my fleet and have it be like the number 5th ship, that probably shouldn't be the ship that takes the most damage, you know? That's kind of how I would look at it. But that's not how, you know? So it's a armor does not work the way I think it should work. I'll say that. And why I wouldn't put armor on in anything in this game right now. I don't. There's no way. Nope. If you add 1 second armor, 1 second repair armor, and you get more repair, something's broke.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah.
Cool. All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to say?
No.
One last thing, because we didn't cover the time limited campaigns.
Yeah.
The 2 breacher campaigns can both be autoed exceptionally easy with your Silverfish fleet.
Oh, good.
So if you have them, rock through them.
Yes, I agree with that.
And it's quite strange driving Silverfish in those targets because we're so used to, using bat rays or razors or whatever. And yeah, to go in there with the Silverfish seems kind of odd, but that works well. So I'd certainly, recommend that if you need the breacher stuff. It's a good way of doing it. So there you go.
Just something I want to clarify too. Back to the whole thing about how some people can go in Discord and ask for TLOs and they get it right away. The whole point of that conversation was not that Kixeye is giving people what they want. Oh, that's a bad thing. The point is that certain people go in there, and when they ask for things, they get preferential treatment to other people who ask for the same shit all the time. But person B will ask for it tons of times and not get it. Person A will go in there and get it. And any of you guys in chat right now, like Ratharga and Soulhex, you guys are in Discord all the fucking time. You see it just the same way I do. So to act like that doesn't happen, you're either blind or full of shit. One of the two.
Yeah, but you got to kind of look at it this way. Still Front's in charge now, so anytime someone wants something and they say, well, if we can charge more money for it, they're going to do it.
Sorry, keep talking.
Rant's over.
I was going to say I agree with Carl in chat too that it's not enough hits in those breacher campaigns, but still they'll add up and you'll need them sometimes. So if you can do it, I say do it. All right. So Stormcatcher doesn't have anything else. All right. So on that note, I guess we'll say goodbye. I have actually managed to get a hangout going this time, so I will do that. And everybody say goodbye, because I think we're done.
Good night.
Have a good day, everyone.
Later.
Yes.
See y'all.